Hey there, this is Richard Moore. I'm checking in with you on our Divergent Theology page. Just give an update about how the book has gone. It's been out since September. First of all, there's been a relatively positive feedback. I wrote this book originally just sort of for my own friends, the people who I knew who were affected by the New Apostolic Reformation. I wanted to inform them and to let them know about some of the tenuous theological backgrounds that were found in the movement. So I really wrote it from sort of myself and my friends. I really came to find out there was a very wide audience that this would speak to. And so there's been some real positive feedback. And so people have been buying it and interested in reading it and understanding what these tenuous theological components are. Anyways, there's been some pushback, some negative pushback, because this movement is so powerful and so many people are affected by it. Some say 60 million Americans are affected by some form of New Apostolic type of teaching. That means that people really love these people. They love Bill Johnson. They love Bethel Church and the music that it puts out. They love all the other teachers that are so-called apostles and prophets, and they really are touched by these teachings and these movements. And I want to be very sensitive to those folks who are affected by this movement and who are touched by Bill Johnson and others. And when teachers and leaders say that Jesus has laid aside his divinity, that is a very, very inaccurate and dangerous theological position. I have received quite a bit of criticism in that sense, even from personal friends, which is okay for me because I feel this burning in my soul, kind of like Jeremiah the prophet. And if I weren't to speak, it would consume me, and I could not continue without saying something. I've been most recently to a German missions conference. Missions leaders were very interested in the book, and they have seen the movement. I went to visit a Bible school with a friend, actually, and he was doing a presentation. He just mentioned my name and that I was with him as a friend, and that I had recently released a book called Divergent Theology, and all he said was, it's about Bethel and Bill Johnson. Immediately after the presentation for my friend, there were probably 20 to 25 students out of maybe 150 students that came to me and wanted to know my opinion on Bethel and Bill Johnson. It is so popular that in Germany, a Bible school, over 20 people were affected deeply by this movement, and they wanted to know my opinion. I shared my opinion that I found it very challenging that Bill Johnson taught that Jesus laid aside his divinity while he was here on earth. And one of the students said that we have had theological disagreements and discussions between us as Christians for quite some time, for our history in Christendom. I said, you're right. You're very right. We have had disagreements between us as Christians for years and years. However, those who claim to be Christians must believe that Jesus is God. From eternity past to eternity future, Jesus is God. He will never relinquish his divinity. He will never lay it aside. And that makes this movement not a Christian movement. When teachers teach that Jesus is not God, they become automatically not a Christian movement. So there is positive feedback. There is as well some negative pushback. But that's the nature of this book. This is a very controversial book in that sense. I call things what they are, but as well, we deal with the theological foundation of this movement. This was a labor of love for me, and I love the church. I love theology. I love Christ. And I'm so glad that he's called me to write this work and share it with the world. Thank you for your time. This book, Divergent Theology, it is available on Amazon, all Amazon marketplaces, and Kindle. So appreciate your time, and God bless you.